Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming into our next session. I'm so excited to introduce SJ from Justuno. She heads up the partner marketing team there. For her session, I love this session name where the pop-ups pop in. So SJ, I'll let you take it from here.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Let me just get my screen situated here, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure I know when I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, perfect. So yes, SJ here from the Justuno Partnerships team. And really Justuno is all about the on-site experience and optimizing that experience with pop-ups, quizzes, even embedded content like product recommendations or just something that looks native to your website. So today I'll be sharing pop-up performance, and please throw any questions that you have for me in chat, and let's have a wonderful session today. So were they poppin'? Yes, they were, can confirm. We're going to get into the hurdles that we heard about this year for merchants, whether it be merchants that have been with us for years or those just testing us out for the holidays. How did pop-ups really impact conversion? So I'll give you those exact numbers and we'll dive into it kind of from a customer success side of things. And what about on-site strategies moving forward? So everything I share today is not just meant to end after the holidays. These are strategies that you should now be at a good point to keep testing through, if not just to start implementing and get a baseline number for these things. Okay, cool. So getting into hurdles, I really want to set the stage kind of with where Justuno was in BFCM and addressing these different types of hurdles. We ended up assisting 33 million shopping sessions. So people coming to website, doing their browsing, actually converting, that whole mix. And then out of 234 million page views, Black Friday logged 59.8% and was a clear winner in terms of revenue and conversions. So we can lay that to rest. Black Friday was a hit on our end. Another fun note for us, the average pages traveled was 7 pages or viewed, right, during a session. So a lot of browsing was happening, and I would assume a lot of browse abandonment, cart abandonment to go along with that. So we can see here, I pulled the 3, like the consensus kind of the biggest hurdles that we wanted to tackle with Justuno, and that was saving same session carts. So really focusing on that current session where someone is actively showing you they've added something to cart or they've browsed maybe a top performing product that you have. So we had visitors or we had merchants coming to us really wanting to make up for lost ROI and trying to make the most, of course, out of those paid efforts that they have too. We also heard that we wanted to increase engagement. So not just having a pretty site, right? Actually getting someone from add to cart to checkout to adding in their information to utilizing a coupon code. Those are all really incremental steps to getting, I would say, a quality conversion, right? Someone that isn't going to return, someone that you can get a review out of as well. And you start building that experience or that relationship right from the first pop-up on your website. Another hurdle was just adding more value to site. So this kind of hits on like that embedded content side of things, or like a banner that is really addressing a full, like a really dynamic messaging that you may have. So just adding more touch points where visitors really feel like they're getting the information they need. They're not needing to go into chat and being proactive on their end, because we all know as shoppers, you just want that stuff delivered to you. You want to read it when you're ready to read it on different pages or in different pop-ups on your website. So saving carts, increasing engagement, and value adds were the hurdles we were tackling and heard about this year. So now I'm going to get into our kind of, not a data dump, but the top data we can look at to pull insights from here. So first off, we'll start with conversion rate. And I'll leave this here for you right now as I get into some specifics here, and then I'll round out with this review. But we had product recommendations leading with the highest conversion rate out of features you can add into a pop-up. And different features are tap to text, for example, or having a timer in your pop-up. So when we had product recommendations included, that did lead to the highest conversion rate. And that's meaning that product recommendation carousel or the products, that's the last thing they engaged with before they actually converted. So what I would take away from Commerce AI and how that relates to product recommendations is to really lean into adding more dynamic product recommendations on different locations on site. So most of our merchants will, like, let's say you're on Shopify, for example. If you're using that native product recommendation tool, that's fine. We usually are also including the Justuno product recommendations, and you're getting a lot more data with that and just knowing who is actually adding things to cart and who is actually converting. Like, is it new or return visitors, for example, or customers versus non-customers that are doing that. Next up in conversion land, we did see more engagement on mobile experience, but we saw higher conversion rate and average order value on desktop. So it definitely leads to us needing different experiences, or just different experiences being necessary because of just where we see that ultimate shopping taking off, which is on desktop. I know, like, pre-BFCM, we were all about really focus on mobile and do everything you can with mobile. And that's so true. Mobile can definitely benefit from strategies that maybe aren't so much offer rich. They are more educational and always like keeping the door open for different offers or messages that you may have on site. Okay, let me get into my last point here. So desktop experiences saw a 27% average engaged conversion rate. So overall, when you had a pop-up on desktop and someone engaged with that, they're converting at that 27% rate. When we compare that to mobile at around 16%, that is already lower. And that could be, a mix of just merchants maybe not prioritizing a mobile experience and having something to show on there. Maybe they're just showing something on desktop. So this would lead me to really try to create experiences or pop-ups that are meant for desktop and meant for mobile, that are delivering that highest converting message. And maybe on desktop, it's 20% versus on mobile, it's free shipping. So great things to test out in the new year. Okay, I know I'm getting timed here, so I'm going to go a little faster. Next up, we're focusing on AOV increases. So from desktop to mobile, we saw these increases. The top two features that contributed to AOV increases on our end were the use of gamification and urgency via timers. So gamification, the classic spin to win, of course, but also a strategy that we've seen take off for the holidays was where it's like a gift message and you're just picking, the visitor has the option to pick which offer suits them best. Or maybe it's like a mystery prize kind of thing. While desktop and mobile experiences both did increase in AOV, desktop had the highest change in AOV at around 29%. And it also led over conversion rate at 7.45%. So overall, we're still seeing that trend in desktop being that main point of conversions, or actually giving you that info to proceed with sending their product. All right, up next, we have our with form and then no form. This one, of course, is a hot data point for anyone using Justuno, because you're probably using us for lead capture and then getting into those additional strategies. So with form, we see a 20.7 engaged conversion rate. And that makes sense, right? With form means we are capturing a piece of data, email, SMS, and someone is actually converting after that engagement in that session. At 6.5 conversion rate for no form pop-ups, that also makes a little more sense. Some of our pop-ups that have an offer may not always have an action that's taking them somewhere. It could be something that closes a pop-up. So these are things we want to consider when we look at if we keep a lead capture live for the holiday or if we turn it off, because with the different strategies that you may have and trying to focus on conversion only, there may be a case where you want to mix in lead capture and take advantage of all that new traffic that you have coming to your website. Let's see where I'm at on time. Okay, cool. So next up, we have our product recommendation carousel and what was delivered from that. So again, that's product recommendations on your homepage, to your product page, to your category page, all of that syncing up with segmentation efforts, right? So at 21.9% conversion rate for product recommendations, this went up tremendously from 2023. And then same thing for the engagement rate. So engagement rate is actually people browsing through the carousel, clicking and adding things to cart. What's great to see this increase from 2023 is that with 2023, like maybe that focus wasn't so much on utilizing all this rich data that we've collected, right? To actually serve up a relevant recommendation. So with our recommendations that are AI driven, you are able to serve up the best carousel of products based off of if they're a new visitor, for example, and what fits best there, or even better, depending on what source they're coming from. So if they're coming from a referral, right, or maybe some influencer partnership that you're working on, you can acknowledge that and then serve up relevant products that fit with that type of clientele. So let's move on here into strategies that paid off for us. So we have, with the goal of rescue, this was a top hurdle that we wanted to address and that we heard. We saw an example of cart abandonment by SKU. So you're actually serving up different cart abandonment pop-ups based off of the specific SKU in cart. This could also be broken down just by the specific, like a specific amount in cart. But for this example, they received a 67.7% engaged conversion rate. So those that engaged, clicked, added things to cart, browsed, converted at this rate. Next up, we have our returning abandoned window shopper. So in this strategy, we're serving up what they left in cart last. Very similar to probably what you're doing in email with abandoned cart, but you're doing that in the pop-up right when they've arrived to site. And it doesn't need to be when they visit from the email that you send. This can just be tracking this and serving up this information at an impressive 37% engaged conversion rate. On the other side of goals, we had engagement and increasing AOV. AOV was definitely a hot topic, like pre-BFCM. Bundles was also a hot topic. So we saw gamification being used for new and return visitors, having a 13% conversion rate. And I would say maybe that feels a little lower, but gamification probably had an attachment of like lead capture or form with that. So that's really great to see. And then for engagement, we had product recommendations throughout the website at 20.3 engaged conversion rate. So a lot to say about just being repetitive about a strategy, right? Product recommendations, but altering that strategy and like what is served, not always serving up the same recommendation on every page. So I'll wrap this up with questions that we should answer now leading into the rest of December and January to really find the strategies that fit best that are worth your time. And this is where I would start if I were working with you one-on-one as a strategist here at Justuno. I'd be talking about what channels saw the lowest engagement or lowest conversion rate, but had high sessions. So just low-hanging fruit there. Who needs more attention from us? Next up, top abandoned item. That is really specific to one of those top strategies I just showed you. So find those top 1 to 3 SKUs that you have or those pages that were exited and really come up with a strategy in pop-up form that's going to be served up in real time when someone does go to exit your website, which we track all that behavior and we can do that on desktop and mobile, tracking that. And then the third question I would ask is, what was your mobile and desktop experience when it comes to conversion rate, AOV, add to cart? All pretty specific data points. You can find them in Justuno, of course, or anything that you're using to track your on-site experience. And the reason we're asking this question about desktop and mobile is to get into that, now branching into, okay, mobile's doing something different. Desktop is doing its own thing. You want to see what you can do to serve up the best experiences, maybe through A/B testing, to get someone through a whole flow to convert, and then creating an actual loyal customer that leads into asking for really solid reviews and just getting them more engaged with your community and your brand. Great questions for you. And if you have any questions about those questions or any points I talked about today, feel free to email me, or I have this nice QR code for you to redeem a conversion audit where we can go through these different segments that you may be trying to engage with, or different channels that you may be just trying to just get more data out of, and give you at least some direction to trial Justuno out.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, SJ. That was perfectly on time. Congrats to our winner, Rachel B, for winning a $50 Amazon gift card from Just Uno. SJ will be in touch. Thanks so much, SJ. Have a good rest of
Thank
your day.
you. Bye, everyone.